So, hi everybody, a very good afternoon to everyone. So, we are just about to start the class. So today's topic is the Bragg's equation. So, everybody know about it. So, what is it? It is the Bragg's law, or basically, Bragg's law is based on a equation which you guys already know. What it is n lambda is equal to 2d sine theta. Okay, you guys already know about it. So, we are just trying to see what is the Bragg's law and how the equation is going to be derived. Okay, so before starting the session, so I just want to tell you one thing. Is basically this is what and this is what. These are the Miller index. Miller index. So I already told you what is Miller index. It is the notation जैसे कि हमने HM notation use करते हैं in order to define or in order to denote the crystal classes या फिर sunflies notations define करते हैं. तो it is one type of notation which is used to define the phase. Okay, so these are phases. Phases means what? They are the planar, or you can say planar structures, or you can say plane. Okay, this is one plane, this is one plane. So I think you guys already know about the TOT structure and all the things. Getting my point? What it is? It is basically the basics of the mineralogy. तो if you want to understand the crystallography is a part. तो यहाँ पे प्लेन लैटिसेस के ऊपर प्लेन लैटिसेस लेके स्पेस लैटिस बनाते हैं. then उसके बाद it is the conceptual thing. But what is happening actually? The thing is basically happening one atomic layer. Okay, and above that there is another atomic layer, and in between them there is some space. इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? It is called as interplanar space. ठीक है, it may be anions. ठीक है, अनायन का एक बनेगा तो बीच में अगर कैटायंस होगा, बट ऑलवेज ट्राई टू मेंशन दिस फेज, दिस डिस्टेंस इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू बी सेम. इसका मीनिंग क्या है? यू कैन सी दिस डिस्टेंस अगर ये डिस्टेंस ए है, दिस इज ए फॉर एवरी प्लेन. जो ये प्लेन पे क्या है 100, दैट मींस इट इज परपेंडिकुलर टू व्हिच एक्सिस? X axis. Okay, so it's a X axis. Okay, so you can see here what it is. The scale is your 110. That means it is parallel to C axis and cutting X and Y axis at unit distance. Okay, so that's why it is 110. So why I'm telling you, you just have to see the denote notation. Okay, so spacing in between this इनके बीच में तो H scale में जो spacing होता है प्लानर में उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? D100. और जो H scale, अगर H scale मीन्स इट इज द मिलर इंडेक्स, अगर 110 में अगर जो स्पेसिंग होता है उसको हम बोलते हैं D110. अगर कहीं पे D100 लिखा हुआ है उसका मतलब कि जो प्लेन है दैट इज योर 100, इनके बीच में जो इंटरप्लानर स्पेसिंग जो होता है मिनरल फॉर्मेशन केसेस में, इसको हम बोलते हैं D100. ओके, इट्स क्लियर? ओके, so now come to our. So why I'm telling this? Because in Bragg's equation there is D. So you should understand what is D. But what happens in case of the crystallography? तो crystallography cases में हमने ये पढ़ा है, there is 3 crystallography axes A, B and C. In which cases it is equal? A is equal to B is equal to C. That is in case of the cubic. जो आप पढ़े हैं बस मैं उसको ही रिवाइज कर रहा हूँ. If I am going to stretch this one, getting my point? Only अगर C cases में strand में डालता हूँ and by just keeping A and B with equal, तो ये क्या हो जाएगा? A is equal to B not equal to C. What it will be? It will be your orthogonal. Getting my point? Everybody is getting now. This is the unit cell dimensions relationship in the crystal system. If I am going to stretch again this B, that means now A is not equal to B, is not equal to C. It will be your orthorhombic. Okay, is it clear? So in this way, you can just change any unit cell dimension by which you will get a new crystal system. Okay, okay. इसको कहने का मतलब ये था, that is a concept in Bragg's equation, that is your lattice constant. Lattice constant and जो हमने अभी देखे D. D is the interplanar spacing. ओके, लैटिस कंस्टेंट इज बेसिकली A. ठीक है, इनके बीच में जो लैटिस के बेसिस में जो मतलब जो डिस्टेंसेस बनेगा, दैट मींस अगर ये एक यूनिट सेल है, ये एक यूनिट सेल है तो along the a axis एक यूनिट सेल का जो यूनिट डिस्टेंस होता है that will be a. So that is the lattice constant. Okay, so don't confuse between the lattice constant and the interplane spacing. And most of the cases में अगर आप क्यूबिक देखेंगे तो क्यूबिक केसेस में ये सेम ही होता है, ठीक है. The edge will be the same thing. Okay, okay. So now come to one another part, then we will go to the Bragg's law and all the things. Okay, simply 1 by DHKL. HKL means जो भी आपका फेस का मिलियन इंडेक्स है, that is equal to h square divided by a square plus k square divided by b square plus l square divided by c square. ठीक है. It is for every planar space, every plan, or you can say every phase. HKL is basically your Miller index. And what are the ABC? They are the unit cell dimensions. Okay, so don't confuse between them. Okay, okay. So if you are getting all the things correctly, now tell me what it will be for the cubic. Cubic cases हम जानते हैं A is equal to B is equal to C. So what it will be? It will be 1 by D HKL. Okay, D मतलब 100 जो भी कुछ होगा, ठीक है. तो h square plus k square plus l square divided by A is equal to B is equal to C. तो ये क्या हो जाएगा? A square. Getting my point? For cubic it will be h square plus k square plus l square divided by a square. ठीक है, because b square is equal to a square, c equal to a square. तो सबका अगर ये लेंगे तो it is going to give you the same thing. Okay, okay. And what is going to be happen now? If I am going to see इसका इनका अगर हम स्क्वायर रूट ले लें तो what it will be 1 by सॉरी यहाँ पे दिस विल बी योर डी स्क्वायर, दिस विल बी योर डी स्क्वायर, डी एच के एल का स्क्वायर. ठीक है, तो हाउ व्हाट इट विल बी डी एच के एल इज बेसिकली एच स्क्वायर प्लस के स्क्वायर और एल स्क्वायर का रूट होगा. ठीक है, तो इट इज योर डी एच के एल का स्क्वायर. ओके, फॉरगेट दैट. ओके, सिंपली अगर हम यहाँ पे लिखें तो इट विल बी 1 by d square is equal to h square by a square. तो मैंने यहाँ पे h स्केल डाला है in order to define the it is the plan to be the phase. Okay, it's a planar feature. ठीक है, l square by c square. This is the universal, or you can this is the uniform. Okay, okay. So now come to here. This is for the cubic. Now if I am going to see what it will be for the tetragonal, क्या होगा? a is equal to b is not equal to c. ठीक है, it is mostly asked in the gate cases में. ठीक है, गेट केसेस में ये पूछा जा सकता है. ठीक है, तो ये केसेस में क्या हो जाएगा? 1 by डी एच के एल का स्क्वायर, ओके, इज इक्वल टू एच स्क्वायर प्लस के स्क्वायर डिवाइडेड बाय ए स्क्वायर प्लस एल स्क्वायर बाय सी स्क्वायर. ठीक है, एंड इन केस ऑफ द ऑर्थोरोम्बिक व्हाट इट विल बी? इन केस ऑफ द ऑर्थोरोम्बिक व्हाट इट विल बी? 1 by डी एच के एल स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू सेम थिंग, क्योंकि और कोई भी जो एच स्केल होगा, जो भी ए बी स्क्वायर होगा तो डिफरेंट है. ठीक है, ए इज नॉट इक्वल टू बी इज नॉट इक्वल टू सी. ठीक है, ये वाला जो है, तो दिस इज द इक्वेशन डिफाइनिंग द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन प्लेन एंड यूनिट सेल. गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? ठीक है, दिस इज द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द प्लेन एंड यूनिट सेल. तो यहाँ पे यूनिट सेल का एबीसी है एंड प्लेन का एच स्केल है, एंड डी इज द इंटरप्लानर स्पेस. ठीक है, वही डी हमारा ब्रैग्स इक्वेशन में यूज होता है, इसलिए मैं इसको थोड़ा सा डिफाइन कर रहा हूँ. ओके, सो यू कैन जस्ट सी दिस इज द इक्वेशंस दैट आर गोइंग टू बी used in case of the different crystal system. In case of the cubic it will be this one, in case of this tetragonal, in case of this orthorhombic. ऐसा पूछ देगा कि क्या पूछेगा कि फेस का एच स्केल दे देगा. ठीक है, डी आपसे ब्रैग इक्वेशन निकालेंगे और पूछेगा कि ए, व्हाट इज ए? ए इज योर नाउ इज योर लैटिस कांस्टेंट. ठीक है, जो मैंने अभी बताया था. ओके, सो नाउ कम टू दी कॉपी. Now come to the Bragg's law. Okay. So what is happening here? What is happening here? Just try to see what is happening here. So if you are trying to see, तो ये वाला भी जरूरी नहीं था. डिलीट। ओके, तो मैंने यहाँ पे नॉर्मली ड्रॉ कर दे रहा हूँ ताकि यू गाइस कैन गेट इट। ओके, तो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग हियर, टू प्लेन्स। ओके, वन इज योर, ये सेम ही है, अगर मान लो कि D100 है, दिस इज योर D100। ओके, दीज आर द प्लेन्स, तो ऐसे ऐसे प्लेन बन के आपका क्रिस्टल बनते हैं। ओके, नाउ व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, one X-ray. In case of these Bragg's equation, or in case of the Bragg's law, we use the X-rays for the study of the XR, मतलब in the analysis of XRA for XRD, उनका source क्या होता है, copper K alpha. It is the higher one. You don't have to worry about this. Okay, just थोड़ा सा आपके लिए मैं बोल देता हूँ, ठीक है? Okay, so now it is reflecting from the top surface. Another one is reflecting from this second layer. Okay, तो हाँ, second layer. Okay, so what is happening here, see, one thing is your, this is your normal. Okay, and this is your incidence angle. Getting my point? And what is happening here, this angle is your theta. This theta is basically your glancing angle. Okay, which is equal to 90 minus I. I is your incident angle. Okay, incident angle. Okay, is it clear? Now come to here, same thing is also going to be here. Since they are parallel rays, so it is going to give you again theta. Okay. Okay. So now come to another part. So what it will be? It will be your मैं एक छोटा सा सिंपल का एग्जांपल यहाँ पर देता हूँ, then you can easily find out. Okay, this is your theta, so this will be your theta. Getting my point? Everybody, this will not be your theta. This will be not your theta. This will be your theta. Okay. So what it will be now? So now this angle will be also your theta. Okay. And this spacing, I have already told you, this is your D. That means ये जो angle है, ये जो space है, it is your D. तो ये वाला जो angle है, or you can say this part, what it will be? It will be your D sin theta. You can use sin theta is basically ये वाला angle divided by the D. So that means this will be your D sin theta. Getting my point? This will be D sin theta. And this one is also your D sin theta. Okay. So now it's a very simple one. तो simple cases में अगर आप देखोगे तो what it will be? तो what is your retardation? Or you can say path difference. Path difference means ये जो path है रे का, और यहाँ से शुरू होके ये जो एक्स्ट्रा पाथ गया है, व्हाट इज द पाथ डिफरेंस? दिस मच डिस्टेंस इज एक्स्ट्रा ना, दिस ब्लू डिस्टेंस इज एक्स्ट्रा ना, which is basically going to be covered by the white ray. जो रे यहाँ पे जा रहा है, this much distance is going to be covered extra, क्योंकि अगर यहाँ से आप यहाँ पे देखोगे, it is the same, it is the same, it is the same, and it is the same. This much distance is the extra. What it will be? How much distance? That will be d sin theta plus d sin theta. Okay, so what it will be? 2d sin theta. This is one method. Another method is also there in order to define what is the Bragg equation. This is 2d sin theta. Okay, and if you're just trying to think what is your path difference, path difference is basically your n lambda. N lambda. Lambda, you guys know already about it. Lambda is the wavelength. And what is n? Yes, most of the books में लिखा होगा n is the integer, but just try to understand what is the n. N is the degree of diffraction. N is your, ये वाला अलग में कर दे रहा हूँ, n is your, or you can say order of diffraction. Order of diffraction. तो उसका मीनिंग क्या है? उसका मीनिंग ये है कि if you are just trying to see, this is your faster. ठीक है, मतलब यहाँ पे रे कौन सी रे में जा रहा है? This only from the second layer. This is your top layer. This is your fast bottom layer. ठीक है, and if you trying to see रे, ये वाला जो रे जा रहा है, it is for the second earth. तो ऐसे ऐसे अगर जितना भी डेप्थ में जाएगा, जितना इंटरप्लानर स्पेस बढ़ेगा, तो in that cases it will going to be increase, but it is not going to affect the equation. Why? Because if you are going to see, अगर मैंने यहाँ पे n lambda लिखा, n lambda 2d sin थीटा। ठीक है, ये केसेस में। ठीक है, अभी मैं क्या करूंगा, n यहाँ पे क्या है 2, 2 लैम्बडा, यहाँ पे स्पेसिंग कितना बढ़ जाएगा, एनीबॉडी? नाउ स्पेसिंग इज, इट वाज अर्लियर d। ओके, इन केसेस में क्या कितना हो जाएगा, अनदर d, दैट मींस 2d। तो 2 होल इनटू 2d sin थीटा, तो व्हाट इट विल बी, n लैम्बडा इज इक्वल टू 4, n लैम्बडा इज इक्वल टू 4d sin थीटा। 2 टू अगर काटेंगे तो 2 हो जाएगा ना, तो इसलिए इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू अफेक्ट दैट मच। तो मोस्टली इसलिए हम इसको लिखते हैं, n को सिंगल प्लेन लेके करते हैं, a लैम्बडा इज इक्वल टू 2d sin थीटा। Okay, but if there is n is going to be written as 2 or 3, you just have to be careful to do the analysis। ऐसा नहीं कि यहाँ पे डिग्री ऑफ डिफ्रैक्शन 2 दिखा हुआ लेकिन आपने 1 करके चला गए। ठीक है, that will be much more problematic। Okay, so this is one method, I think it is the most easiest method in order to define the Bragg's equation, that is your n lambda is equal to 2d sin theta। Okay, another method is also there, but that is not going to help you that much। that will be the same thing if you are trying to see, ये जो वेव यहाँ पे बन रहा है, ओके, ये जो वेव यहाँ पे बन रहा है, दिस इज 1 लैम्बडा। ठीक है, और यहाँ पे हाफ कर दें इसको, तो हाउ मच इट विल बी, लैम्बडा बाई 2। The same thing is here also. I am erasing this part. Okay, you got it. What is the half lambda? Because from this part to this part it is 1 lambda, और half होगा तो half lambda। ठीक है, the same thing is here also, this is also half lambda। and if you know, this is what I have already told you, this is your theta, that means glancing angle, this is your glancing angle। ठीक है, तो sin theta will be what, you guys can think about it, what will be the sin theta in this triangle, what will be the sin theta, ये वाला एंगल में, this is your theta and this is your lambda by 2, or this is the white image, so that's why it is getting difficult, but you can easily see what it will be if I am denoting this again here। Okay, this is your lambda by 2 and this is your theta। I am asking what is sin theta, the sin theta will be lambda by 2 divided by d na, so what it will be, so sin theta will be lambda 2d। ठीक है, तो lambda will be 2d sin theta, it's the simpler one। Now I have used a different, ये मेरा ऑडियो कहीं और पे चलेगा और लिखना कहीं और पे चलेगा। ठीक है, so you guys can just let me know। Okay, okay, so this is the thing, so you can easily find out the equation and the derivation part is also not that much required, बस थोड़ा सा आपको ध्यान रखना होगा कि क्या क्या इसमें चाहिए होता है। Okay, and this is the images, you can just understand कि this is the extra path difference, okay, that is going to be traveled by any medium। Okay, so you can see this is your d sin theta and d sin theta, the extra difference that is your theta, delta, that is your 2d sin theta, and 2d is basically your 2 times of interplanar spacing। Okay, a is a different thing, a is your lattice constant। Okay, so these things you just have to understand। Okay, so now come to the numericals part, then after that we are going to conclude the session, and this is the end of the crystallography classes। Okay, okay, so this is asked in GATE 2008, I think। How we are going to do, just try to do it, read the questions carefully and just try to do it। See what is given here, what is given, lambda is given, that is your 1.541, it is the x-rays, ये x-ray का, हाँ यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, it is the x-ray। Okay, and what is d, d is your, what is d, 4 angstrom। Okay, it is given as 4 angstrom lattice spacing, and the 2 theta value is arcs basically, that is theta is your glancing angle on the x-ray diffractogram। Okay, we are going to use the formula, what is your n lambda is basically your 2d sin theta, and n is equal to 1. So it is going to be reduced into lambda is equal to 2d sin theta. So what will be theta? Theta will be lambda by 2, मतलब sin inverse lambda by 2d. ठीक है? And what will be 2 theta? 2 into sin inverse lambda by 2d. ठीक है? 2 into sin inverse. What is lambda? Lambda is 1.451 angstrom divided by what is 2d? That is your 8 angstrom. ठीक है? तो what it will be? Just try to calculate. The answer will be 20. The 2 theta will be 22.2 degree. ठीक है? Okay. So this is the simpler one. So just try to do it. This is the GATE 2020 question. What is happening here? See, for ऑर्थोनॉमिक क्रिस्टल सिस्टम मैंने बताया था ये वाला, ये क्योंकि ये पूछता है, गेट में पूछता है, बार बार पूछता है. ठीक है? तो what is happening here? You just have to do two different calculations. तो first one is for, यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है पहले पढ़ो. The unit cell of an orthorhombic crystal system is basically going to be compressed during deformation from 5 angstrom to 4.5 angstrom. मतलब ये before the deformation, what is happening here? So we have, this is our plane lattices. Okay, two planes are there. Okay, so what is happening? This is the space. This is the space. That is your D. D यहाँ पे कितना है? 5 angstrom. Okay, so this is the before deformation. Okay, जब यहाँ पे प्रेशर पड़ा, तो what happened? It compressed. Okay, now it converted into 4.5 angstrom. Okay, along the c-axis, that means vertical. So while other two dimensions remaining unaffected, that is not whatsoever required. So what it is written? 0, 0, 1. Getting my point? It is what? It is the plane. Okay, okay. So now what is asking? What is asking? The wavelength is also given. Lambda is already given. That is 1.5418 angstrom. Okay, you just have to find out 2D angle. What is the equation? N lambda is equal to 2d sin theta. N is equal to 1 here. Just consider N is equal to 1 here. So what we are going to do here? देखो यहाँ पे अगर करोगे ना तो what it is going to give you? अगर आप ये वाला इक्वेशन यूज करोगे तो what it is going to give you? 1 is equal to simpler thing is going to give you. I am just trying to tell you. H square is equal to a square k square divided by b square plus l square divided by c square. देखो यहाँ पे h and k क्या है? 0. ठीक है पॉइंट? h and k है 0. तो ये क्या हो जाएगा टोटल? 0. ठीक है? तो 1 by d square is equal to l square by c square. तो a यहाँ पे क्या है? 1. ठीक है? तो what it will be? 1 by d square is equal to 1 by c square. ठीक है? तो अभी क्या होगा? तो d is equal to c. तो c क्या है? c is your lattice constant, but that is not required here. यहाँ पे अगर लिखा होता है कि what is the lattice constant, you are going to use this equation. But यहाँ पे क्या पूछा है आपको? 2 theta पूछा है. How are you going to do? And it is asked the absolute value of shift. मतलब 2 theta angle में कितना डिफरेंस आएगा? किसमें डिफरेंस आएगा? जब 5 angstrom था उस टाइम में 2 theta एंगल कितना है? ठीक है? जब 4-5 angstrom हुआ उस टाइम में 2 theta एंगल कितना है? Then you just have to find out the difference. Okay, is it clear? Just try to do it. I am waiting. So let's see who is going to do it. Just try to do it. If you are going to see what is going to happen for n is equal to 1, lambda is already given, d is basically your 5 angstrom. In that cases, what will happen? In that cases, the 2 theta 1, इसको मैं 1 लेता हूँ, ठीक है? 2 theta 1 will be 17.738 degree. ठीक है? And for the another case, what it will be? N is equal to 1, lambda is already given, d will be 4.5 angstrom. So in that cases, the 2 theta angle will be your 19 point, यहाँ पे क्या होता है 17.738, यहाँ पे क्या है 19.728 angstrom. Okay, so what is asked, what is the shift in the position, what is the shift in the 2 theta field, तो कितना होगा, तो difference will be 19.728 minus, यहाँ पे 2 थीटा में पूछा है, ठीक है, 728 एंगस्ट्रॉम नहीं है, डिग्री है, ठीक है, 19.728 minus 17.738 degree. What it will be? It will be 1.99 error. Okay, the answer will be 1.99. ठीक है, हाँ. See, what he is basically going to tell you कि there is a प्लान और there is a plane. Okay, ये कौन सा प्लेन है, 10, सॉरी क्या था, 001 आई थिंक, 001 ना. Okay, so that is your 001 plane and this is also 001 plane. Okay, इनके बीच में जो स्पेस बनेगा that is your D001. This is before deformation. ठीक है, along the C crystallography axis. जब ये स्पेस बन जाएगा it is basically your 5 angstrom. ठीक है, जब यहाँ पर स्ट्रेस पड़ेगा what is basically going to happen, the spacing is basically going to be decreased, that is your D001 now it will be 4.5 angstrom. ठीक है, now in these cases what happens, the lambda is basically fixed. What it is, the lambda, anybody, 1.54 something कुछ होगा, so it is fixed. Okay, so n is basically 1, so in these cases you will get 2 theta और मान लीजिए 2 theta 1, in this cases you will also get 2 theta 2. तो ये पूछ रहा है कि what is the deviation in the shift, what is the shift in 2 theta angle or the deviation in the 2 theta angle. तो यहाँ पे जो 2 theta angle मिलेगा, तो यहाँ पे जो 2 theta angle मिलेगा उनका डिफरेंस वाला निकाल देंगे, तो that will be the answer 1.99 degree. Is it clear? Okay, so do it quickly. Just be active in this doing these questions. Let's see whether you are getting it or not. अगर यहाँ पे नहीं कर पा रहे हो तो एग्जाम में कैसे करोगे, अगर सोचोगे ना अरे ये क्वेश्चन से कौन कैलकुलेट करेगा, तो यू आर टू लेजी. See, I am extracting what is given. Okay, then after that you guys can do it. Okay, I am extracting what is given. First thing is given, that is your first order, that means n is equal to 1. Okay, and this is your 250 degree, not 250. Okay, this is 25 degree. Okay, and what is given, the x-ray values having a wavelength. Wavelength यहाँ पे दिया गया है, that is your 1.54 angstrom. Okay, determine the interpolation spacing of the planes in the crystal. D यहाँ पे पूछा है, मोस्टली आंसर में पूछा है. ठीक है, तो व्हाट इज डी, ओके, कहां पे जाओगे पता है, देखो मैं बताता हूँ एक बार. यू गाइस ऑलरेडी नो व्हाट इज एन लैम्डा, दैट इज योर 2d sin थीटा. यहाँ पे आपको क्या पूछा है, डी पूछा. ठीक है, अब क्या करो ना, इसको ही थोड़ा अलग कर दो. कैसे करोगे, this one answer will be 1.8. The answer will be 1.82 angstrom. ठीक है, नानोमीटर में पूछे ना तो नानोमीटर का कन्वर्ट कर दो. देखो शॉर्टकट मारने के चक्कर में ना थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो जाता है, इससे प्रैक्टिस करो. Okay, determine the wavelength of X-ray if the spacing between the principal planes of a crystal NaCl, NaCl means cubic. Okay, the first order Bragg diffraction occurs at 10 degree. What is asked? Determine the wavelength of the X-ray. Wavelength you just have to find out. What is given already? The spacing is already given, that is your 2.82 angstrom. Okay, error is your first order. Theta is basically your 10 degree, you just have to find out what? You just have to find out the lambda. Can you guys do it? Okay, so this is your angstrom in angstrom. Okay, okay. So we have two questions now. We will first do for the first question, then second question. Calculator पास में रखो, तुरंत करना है इसको. Okay. So it will be much more easier for us to do. You should find out the space, that is D. Okay, what is always remember, and lambda is equal to 2d sin theta. Quickly, you guys can do it. I am facing some technical issue. We are not, so you should do quickly. Okay, so how we are going to do it? We are going to do it just like in lambda, that is 1.54 is equal to, we are going to see 2.01. Okay, that will be 2.01. Okay, then for question number 2, do quickly. So those I have shown two questions. Determine the wavelength. Wavelength is asked. N is equal to 2. Okay, 2d कितना है? 2.5 sin 30, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, that will be 1. Lambda will be 1.25, I think. Okay, 1.25. Okay, so this is the, okay, you can see the answers. Third order diffraction, 3 into 1.25 angstrom, 2 into 3.2 into, क्योंकि सब angstrom में, इसलिए मैंने 3.2 1.2 लिख रहा हूँ, ठीक है, into sin theta. Okay, I'm going to do it. 2 into 3.2 equal to, into reciprocal, into 3 into 1.25 to sine inverse. Okay, 35.9597, like that. 35 point something it is going to come. Okay. For question number 4, first order reflection in lambda. In, that means 1, so I'm not writing here. So I'm starting directly from lambda. What is lambda? Lambda is 2 angstrom, is equal to 2d. D is basically arcs here, so 2d into sin theta. Sin theta is basically your 15, sin 15. So what it will be? 2 को 2 को अगर यहाँ पे डिवाइड कर देंगे तो what it will be? 1 angstrom. So d into sin 15 is equal to 1. 1 by sin 15. 1 by sin 15. Okay, 3.86 angstrom. You can see. This is the formula. Okay, so everybody is getting a nod. So we have much another 5 questions we are going to do quickly, by which you guys can do it any average situation if that going to come in your examination. So what is asked here? Wavelength. So it is first order. So that will be simply lambda is equal to 2 into 4.0 angstrom into sine 10 degree. but it will be 8.01 strong into sine 10. How much it will be? Sine 10 will be your 0.17 into 8 angstrom. That will be your, okay, 1.39, because 9 को अगर करोगे ना तो it will be 1.39. Okay, question number 6. वेवलेंथ यहाँ पे 1 एंगस्ट्रॉम है. डिग्री ऑफ रिफ्रैक्शन और रिफ्लेक्शन जो भी है यहाँ पे, तो जो M3 occur at an angle that is 225 डिग्री. अगर मान लो कि यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा अगर चेंज कर दिया, occur at angle of incidence तो 25 डिग्री है, तो फिर हम ग्लांसिंग एंगल कैसे निकालेंगे? 90 माइनस 25 डिग्री, तो दैट विल बी योर 65 डिग्री. ओके ओके, what do ask for the question asked you? 3.5. ठीक है. n lambda 2d sin theta, lambda is already given. n is equal to 3, 25 degrees. Simply by just solving this one, you can easily find out that will be 3.54 degree. Question number 7. D already given. थीटा पूछा है आपको एंड n is equal to 2. Okay, do question number 8. Do I am silently doing because I don't want to disturb you guys. That will be 1.88, but if you're going to see the nearest one will be, it can be asked on MCQ, the nearest one will be your 2. Okay, this will be your second order. ये अगर ऐसे क्या पूछेगा पता है? It is going to be asked, put your answer or give your answer in integer. The nearest integer will be, because n is the integer, the nearest integer will be your 2. Zero 0.8 divided by 2.8, 2.8, the sine inverse 16.6. The question number 10, this is the last question. N is basically your, okay, 7 angstrom into sine 35 divided by 1.2 angstrom. Okay, तो पहले हम क्या कर लेंगे? 35 sine into 7 divided by 1.2. It will be 3.34. So it will be integer. It should be an integer. The answer will be 3. Okay. So I have 2.88 this है. It may be different one. ये कुछ गलत होगा सर. But the answer will be 3. Okay. So in this way we have come crystallography part. Now we are going to conclude this session.